solve the equation. So notice we've got choices where we get two answers and choices where we have only one answer. If we do have an extraneous solution, we do not want to include it in terms of our answer. But as we flip over here to my paper to work out this problem, what we're going to do, first of all, is we're going to find the common denominator. And the common denominator is going to be the highest exponent. So ultimately what we're going to do, between 1 and r squared and r, our common denominator is r squared. And we're going to multiply 1 by r squared. And then we're going to multiply r squared by 2 divided by r squared. And then we're going to multiply r squared times 1 divided by r. When we find the common denominator, we use it to get rid of the fraction. So r squared times 1 is r squared. The r squareds cancel out here, equals 2. And then worst comes to worst here. Remember, r squared is r times 1 over r. One of those r's cancels out, and we get r. And now, eventually, we're going to have to factor, so let's move everything to the left side. I'm keeping my r squared term positive. That's why I'm moving to the left, and in general, I typically move to the left, but we'll add r to both sides. So we have r squared plus r equals 2. And then we can subtract 2 from both sides. We get r squared plus r minus 2 equals 0. And then we want to factor. So we factor here. 1 times 2 is 2, and the only factors of 2 are 1 and 2. So as we split the middle, we need to combine to be a positive, so this has to be negative 1 plus 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. So it's going to be minus 1r plus 2r, and we can group. So now that we've got that here, and I know it does equal 0, the greatest common factor in our first group is r, and we're left with r minus 1. Greatest common factor in our second group is 2, and we're left with r minus 1. And then we have r minus 1 and r plus 2 in terms of our factors here. But we want to know, what does r equal? And it makes sense if you looked at the answers on Edmentum, they were forms of 1 and 2. So if we take r minus 1 and we set it equal to 0, and r plus 2 and we set it equal to 0, we end up with r equals 1 and r equals negative 2. But what we need to do to finish here is we need to check and see, do we have extraneous solutions? So where we're going to go is we're going to go back into the original equation, and remember that we cannot have 0 in our denominator. So if we put 1 back in here, 1 squared, not 0, 1, not 0, 1 is an answer. Our other choice was negative 2. Negative 2 squared. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4, not 0. Negative 2 in here. Both our answers of 1 and negative 2 are solutions to the problem, which is 1, negative 2.